Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Within the last couple hours or so, some major news broke. Here's a headline from Cointelegraph. OCC greenlights national banks to run nodes and stablecoin networks. And so the OCC, that's the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, this is the government entity in the United States that cited this past summer that banks are now able to legally custody cryptocurrencies for customers, which was the biggest, probably, or among the biggest positive news pieces for all of 2020. And so I saw this headline and I got excited about it. I was like, okay, fine, some regulatory clarity. This is going to be good. We can move forward a bit as opposed to what we've been seeing, the whole mess with the SEC and Ripple. And I went to Twitter to see what people had to say about it. And it's, you know what the story turned into? This is another XRP killer. XRP now useless. The chosen coin is going to be a stable coin. Yet to be named, mind you, but it's still, whatever it is, it's the XRP killer. And what this demonstrates is a fundamental lack of understanding of XRP's use case. No, this is not something that is bad for XRP. Period. And I'm going to articulate why in this video. And I've been talking about this literally, as I will demonstrate, for years. This exact topic for multiple years. And look, I don't mind people that are just trying to get to the truth, like maybe, especially like, for example, if you're new to the XRP community, talking about it, of course, thoughtful discourse, back and forth, sharing ideas. What's annoying to me is just the Bitcoin maxi trolls out there spouting out narratives that don't make sense because they're uninformed and they don't want XRP's use case to actually be a thing. So anyway, before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap the like button, I would appreciate the support. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, you done came to the right spot, son. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Don't cost nothing. Now, I also do want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just genuinely interested in topics such as this, and I love running this YouTube channel as a hobby. That is all that it is, though, just to be super duper clear. And so here's the actual OCC government website, which is not loading properly. You know, it took me a while to get it to load in this form. I think the little government server here is having trouble processing all the the page views that it's receiving here. But here you can see January 4th, 2021, federally chartered banks and thrifts may participate in independent node verification networks and use stablecoins for payment activities. Now, Jeremy Allaire, he is the co-founder and CEO of Circle. He put out what I think was a pretty good summarization of what the OCC said. And so I want to run through this Twitter thread, and then I'm going to make the case for why anybody that says that this is bad for XRP doesn't know what the hell it is they're talking about. And it begins. Breaking major news from the U.S. Treasury OCC, the largest U.S. banking regulator, with new guidance allowing U.S. banks to use public blockchains and dollar stablecoins as a settlement infrastructure in the U.S. financial system. Key here. The U.S. financial system. Let me now, if you don't know why that's important, you're going to in a second as I continue to flesh out what's wrong with the Bitcoin maxi troll positions out there. Let me proceed, though. This is a huge win for crypto and stablecoins. The new interpretive letter establishes that banks can treat public chains as infrastructure similar to SWIFT, ACH, and Fedwire, and stablecoins like USDC as electronic stored value. The significance of this can't be understated. Now let me pause right there too. They cited SWIFT, which is what Ripple's positioning XRP to replace effectively, right? And so you read that, and you might be like, oh, so this is a new competitor, trying to take out SWIFT. No. They're talking about from a legal perspective, you can treat it as such. Now, if somebody wants to try and use a stable coin to take out SWIFT, I've talked about this in the past. I'm going to talk about it again in this video. I say have at it and good luck. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let me continue on with the thread here. Jeremy Allaire continues. Decentralized, permissionless, open source, and internet-mediated software is literally becoming the foundation for not just the U.S. financial system, but for the global economy. We are on a path towards all major economic activity being executed on-chain. It is tremendous to see such forward-thinking support from the largest regulator of national banks in the United States. This paves the way for the use of leading dollar digital currencies such as USDC as a mainstream payment medium for all forms of payments and settlement, and helps put the US in a leadership position in embracing power of public blockchains. Beyond payments and settlement, and unlike legacy settlement mediums, public chains combine transactions and compute, enabling a radically new modes of financial and commerce apps to be built. It also sets the stage for more regulated financial institutions to run blockchain nodes and even become validators. This is a huge way to start 2021, the year that crypto and stablecoins go mass market. Yeah, so when I read this news, I saw this initially and I thought, okay, at least we've got a government entity on the federal level that is like, yay, go forward with blockchain and crypto technology. And Brian Brooks, who is leading the OCC, I mean, he cited, without citing specifically Ripple and XRP, he said that the, quote, killer app, that's a quote from him, the killer app is effectively, and the rest I'll have to paraphrase, but just it's the idea of being able to move money efficiently around the planet. That's what he was talking about in general. And so you get a tweet like this in response. And so this is from, and nothing against this gentleman individual. This is just one example. It happens to be a popular Twitter account, Don Alt. Nothing against this guy whatsoever, but he has 169,900 followers. And here's what he told those 169,900 followers in a tweet. He wrote, in response to Jeremy Allaire's thread here, looks like the stablecoin XRP fanatics always hated looks like the stablecoins XRP fanatics always hated are pretty much what XRP always wanted to be, while XRP is the opposite of what it wanted to be. And so this is a clear demonstration that this particular individual doesn't know what the hell it is that he's talking about. It's like, I read that tweet and I was like, this is why we can't have nice things. This tweet right here is why we cannot have nice things. Let me explain why now. Look, when I joined the world of crypto, November 2017, one of my primary concerns and questions when I was going through the learning process very early on was, okay, but what about like a bank coin or a stable coin? Couldn't that just come in and then you no longer need XRP? And I just wanted to get to the truth of the matter. And so I talked to all sorts of people all up on the Twitters and XRP chat, and I did my own research. And I eventually realized that, a stable coin or a bank coin, the two cannot do what XRP is positioned to do, even if technologically equivalent, even if. There are other barriers outside of technology that would prevent that, which I'm gonna explain in great detail here, so listen up. But it has to do with barriers to entry, geopolitical differences, and you're never going to get governments around the world to just harmoniously govern around one particular stable coin. Especially consider this. Think whether it's and let me throw this into whether it's a central bank digital currency, a bank coin, or a stable coin, they all have the same problem. All three have the same problem, period. And if it's a central bank digital currency or a bank coin or a stable coin, all of them are going to be backed by a fiat currency. So please understand, when we're talking about any of those types of coins, they are fiat currency. It's just a different form of it. It's a representation of fiat currency. Now, it doesn't mean that that's useless. There can be all sorts of reasons, which I'm not going to get too in depth on that. That's not the purpose of the video, but there can be useful reasons to have stable coins, and it can be more effective moving money around domestically, but that doesn't help with interoperability around the planet. And so I put a blog out on February 9th, 2018. You can see here's my Twitter page, and I pinned this that day, February 9th, 2018. And I titled it, Who's Competing with Ripple? And so this is something I've been talking about for quite literally 3 years to this point. And so I want to read to you a part of this, of this blog, and it exactly attacks this. Now, in the blog, I talked about specifically bank coins, but it doesn't matter. Again, whether we're talking about a bank coin, we're talking about a stable coin, if we're talking about a central bank digital currency, I don't care what their technical attributes are. They have other problems that need to be addressed. And people have different reasons, geopolitical reasons, that they would or would not adopt a stable coin, a central bank digital currency, or a bank coin, and business reasons, right? And so that's what these people like Don Alton, again, nothing against the guy, does not understand. Absolutely does not understand that. And then even if, like, why would this be the one coin to rule them all? Like, what, now it's a stable coin, so it's the United States dollar that's ruling everything? Like, what about Bitcoin now? You're getting your narratives all messed up. You're getting all jumbled here. But I had this little segment here, one of the segments in this blog titled Deeply Misguided Competitors, which reads as follows. Let's take a moment to consider the entities that are competing with Ripple. Examining all competitors would be outside the scope of this blog, but suffice it to say most are banks and financial institutions. Their technology solutions, and I use the term solutions loosely, have two primary components. They utilize blockchain or familial technology for payments and bank coins for liquidity. Component 1. For comparison's sake, you can think of their blockchain or familial technology for payments as being equivalent in concept to Ripple's Xcurrent. That's an oversimplification, but it works for explanatory purposes. Component 2. The aforementioned bank coin. The term bank coin can be broadly used to define a digital asset created and used by a bank or alliance of banks, which is intended to solve the same liquidity problem XRP was designed to solve. Bank coins all employ the same general strategy, have the same market barriers, and the same tremendous shortcomings. During the summer of 2016, UBS, Deutsche Bank, Santander, and BNY Mellon announced their own bank coin. They call it the Utility Settlement Coin, which is a digital asset intended to solve the liquidity problem that XRP also seeks to solve. And so I want to be clear here before I read further on my own blog here. Like, I know I said this, I really want to reiterate this point. When you're talking about a bank coin or a stable coin or a central bank digital currency, it is fiat currency. It's just a new representation of it that has various few benefits, okay? But you still had a bunch of different people that are using different fiat currencies around the world. Now let me continue with my own blog here. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse promptly wrote an article citing the development of this bank coin as deeply misguided. He was quick to point out a glaringly obvious problem is that a bank coin can only efficiently settle between the banks that issued it. A quote from Brad Garlinghouse's article referencing two possible outcomes. And this is Brad Garlinghouse right now, which, by the way, was from this piece. He posted this on LinkedIn. He titled this The Case Against Bankcoin. This is from August 24th, 2016. Yep, like 4.5 years ago, just about, right? And by the way, it's not like they suddenly realized this was the thing, and then in August of 2016, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to address this. No, do you think that Ripple didn't understand like the place for XRP in 2013 and 2014 in terms of utilizing a centralized coin, a central bank digital currency, stablecoin, whatever, versus a decentralized cryptocurrency used for liquidity? You think they didn't think about that years prior to Brad Garlinghouse writing this in August of 2016? Of course they thought about that. So here's the quote from Brad's piece there. Scenario 1. All banks around the world put aside competitive and geopolitical differences, adopt the same digital asset, agree on its rules, and harmoniously govern its usage. Fat chance. Scenario 2. The more likely scenario. Banks not in the issuing group issue their own digital asset with their own sets of rules and governance. And then my blog continues. Given that Brad's second scenario is already happening with the advent of Citibank's Citicoin and Goldman Sachs Settlecoin, it's easy to see how pursuing the bank coin approach will only serve to further fragment an already fractured banking system. Banks with competing bank coins would need to make new markets in order to conduct business with one another. Does that sound like a global solution to you? I don't think so either. No level of bank coin interoperability could ever work as seamlessly as a globally adopted XRP. As I previously mentioned, XRP is only used as a source of liquidity, not as a source meant for payments. This means that banks have a few choices when it comes to adopting blockchain or familial technology and digital assets. Number 1, utilize Ripple's Xcurrent for payments and XRP for liquidity. 2, create their own blockchain or familial technology for payments and use XRP for liquidity. Number 3, create their own blockchain or familial technology for payments and create their own centralized digital asset for liquidity. Now, a primary reason that XRP is attractive as a liquidity solution is that people and businesses have invested in it, and as such, it has actual value. Any bank coin upon inception has no value. Bank coins are controlled by the banks that own them. They are not traded on open cryptocurrency exchanges. So how can a bank coin with no actual value be used to solve a liquidity problem? The unfortunate answer is that it must be backed by multiple fiat currencies in order to have value. Mr. Garlinghouse points out the problem with this in referencing the utility settlement coin, which is a prime example. Here's a quote from Brad Garlinghouse's piece now. Once backed by cash, it's no longer an asset, it's a liability. Trading liabilities then ultimately requires moving cash across borders, recreating today's system, but adding more friction. And so think about this. Think about this. Let's take this a step further. Even if you buy the story that a stablecoin is going to be used to move money around the planet rather than XRP, who's going to do that? Who's going to build out the corridors, not just for settlement? So understand XRP specifically is for settlement, but what about RippleNet? That's the messaging portion of the equation. So who's going to build out an equivalent to RippleNet, which doesn't use XRP, and then connect all of the banks around the planet? What's their business model? How are they going to pay to employ people? Because the stablecoin, mind you, like it's supposed to always be worth the same, and somebody's got to front the money if it's going to actually be backed. And if it's not going to be backed, that introduces a whole number of additional issues. But still, even then, if it's a representation of one fiat currency, it doesn't interoperate. So even then, it still doesn't matter. So who's going to do this? I don't see anybody even attempting to do this. And so I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been talking about this issue quite, as you can see, literally for multiple years, about 3 years at this point. And so nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. All that happened here is there's law that passed that said banks, you can participate in these types of blockchain networks. You can run Node. There's also, I'm not going to run through the whole piece. I don't think we need to for the scope of this video here, the piece from the OCC that they put out today. This is good news, and you got to understand. So think about this. If you're worried about this, what do you think XRP's use case is? Because we're talking here about a stablecoin helping payments domestically, and I don't know what the coin would be if there's one that's going to be widely adopted in the United States, which is backed by a United States dollar. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm not denying something like that could happen, but that's a different use case. And you'd have to make the case to me, because we're not even talking about a specific coin here, and already people are flipping out. Show me what the coin is, show me what the technical attributes are, show me how it's backed and how it operates. And if there are reasonable situations in which in the United States it makes sense and can move money a little bit more efficiently, cool, super duper. That doesn't interoperate with the rest of the world, though. You still need a bridge, because even if there's a particular coin here backed by the United States dollar, so again, it effectively is the United States dollar, it's a representation of it. If that's the case, what about all the other countries around the planet that are not using the United States dollar, or a coin represented by the United States dollar? Or if it's a coin represented by the United States dollar, is it a different coin that's represented by the United States dollar? It doesn't interoperate. So even then, the point is there's still going to be a place for a decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price to bridge. And you have to build out the infrastructure still. So that's why it's never going to be like snap of a finger. Ripple's been building this out for many, many years, right? And so corridors, they're up and running. There are some, but it's still early days, even for XRP as a bridge currency. And so you're not going to I'm telling you guys, you're not going to have governments around the world, banks around the world, and there's I don't know how many banks are. I know it's over 11,000 on the planet. You're not going to get them to all agree to use the United States dollar exclusively. And what I mean by that is a coin that represents the United States dollar. Think about it. The United States dollar is already the reserve currency of the world, and it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work. You're just talking about a new digital version. When you're talking about a stable coin or a central bank digital currency or bank coin, again, it's just a new representation, a new digital representation of the dollar, which is already digital. That's it. That it oversimplifies it a lot. Again, like I'm not pretending there aren't any benefits to it, but it doesn't interoperate. Unless you can get everyone to adopt one coin the world over, the answer is no, it's not an XRP killer. And why can't these Bitcoin Maxies freaking get that? Well, they're not doing enough research, frankly. And that's ridiculous. So to any of you that are out there just trying to get to the truth of the matter, I applaud you. If you're asking questions on Twitter, I applaud you. I just don't like the Bitcoin Maxies that aren't interested in the truth, and then they spout off stuff sometimes to massive audiences when they are just clueless. And they probably don't even want the truth, frankly. But you're never going to get, in any instance, one coin to rule the entire world. It's just not going to happen. Not even in terms of moving money around the planet. It's just not going to happen clearly. There's no question in my mind. And so the only solution that we have for the settlement portion of the train wreck that is the world of global payments, the only solution requires the use of a technologically sufficient decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price. And there is only one in the whole world that is being positioned for that use case as a bridge currency, and that's XRP. If another comes on board, that'd make me interested. I wouldn't even be mad about it. Okay, I'd be like, XRP, compete with this. Let's see what the hell happens. Maybe I'd even invest in it. But that's not happening. You know, I wouldn't even hate it if it happened. But it's no one's even trying to do what Ripple is doing, which has always been astonishing to me. But I understand the hurdles. I even talk about it in my blog, which I'm not going to go through in this video. I understand why. It would be a tremendous undertaking to try and do it at this point. And especially with the SEC actually gets Ripple to this point, I don't think anybody would want to try it at this moment until there's clarity around that anyway. But suffice to say, humans have not come up with a solution other than this. But it still takes the manual labor, the sweat equity of getting out there and building these damn corridors and making sure that XRP is sufficiently liquid. The reason that XRP hasn't taken over all the corridors, hasn't taken over Swift, is because it's today, in its early days, it's not sufficiently liquid. But in corridors where it is, it has been used. And it is saving money, and it takes out layers of middle management. It makes all the sense in the world. So I hope this cleared everything up. If you were one of the people out there that was afraid by the news, I don't blame you one bit. I appreciate that you are trying to get to the truth of the matter. I certainly appreciate diversity of thought, though. So if you think that I'm wrong about anything or could be more precise on something, let me know in the comments section below. But again, like, this is something I've been aware of for literally years. And had I not come to this level of clarity with understanding the unique use case of XRP, and how stablecoins aren't a threat, I don't think I would have been dollar cost averaging in for nearly 3 years, which is what I did with my XRP purchasing. So there you go. All right, I guess I'll stop there. You can talk amongst yourselves now. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.